you do, don't fall asleep.
Good evening. Welcome to this week's edition of the WayBack Movies Podcast, a show where we review the best and not so best of 80s and 90s cinema, because really, fuck the 2000s. My name is Steve, and with me on this crazy journey,
Justin.
Doctor.
And
we're back. And this is my fucking Christmas. As we mentioned last week, we are starting to cover my favorite film series on this fucking planet. We are covering A Nightmare on Elm Street. I couldn't be happier that we're doing this. Like I promised, unfortunately, this is going to be a very long episode, just because...
Ladies.
Yeah.
It's a stupid joke.
It is, but it works. It works every time. I'm not going to lie. Like, it threw me off because I actually wanted to laugh. I can't lie. But yeah, like, this is... I got a lot of fucking notes, and I was working...
I think you were working on the next great American novel there, Steve.
I kind of was, yeah. I've got, like, over 10 pages of notes here. And that's just before the movie. During the movie, I know a lot as well, so I'll just be breaking in from time to time to discuss that shit. So, yeah, this is going to take a while. So, with that being said, let's just go. Yes, so we're going back to November 9th, 1984 for A Nightmare on Elm Street. Oh, look, we're in 1984. Ha ha ha. Little jokes. Okay, whatever. Let's go. We got a lot to get through, and I got to fucking do this now. We got a lot to go through.
For a good time, not a long time.
Exactly. Well, no, we are going to be here for a long time. That's the fortunate. We got both going, so hopefully this is good. But you know what? I'll enjoy it. Who gives a shit?
That's true.
So, A Nightmare on Elm Street, released November 9th, 1984, written and directed by Wes Craven, produced by Robert Shea, production companies, New Line Cinema, Smart Egg Pictures, and Media Home Entertainment, distributed by New Line Cinema. Box office of $25.5 million, and counting, because this movie plays constantly, against a budget of $1.8 million. So, successful.
God, horror movies are like you can make them for a song.
That's I mean, there's a reason why there's always horror movies
reach
at
into
any
your
given
pocket.
time.
You'll pull up some bubble gum and lint, and that'll be enough to make a $1 billion franchise.
I mean, in all fairness, that's why you'll always see horror movies, because they always make money and they cost nothing. Like, not a damn thing. Now, this was, mind you, ultra low budget because of circumstances that we'll get to in a minute, but still, that's how you make movies.
It look great for a low-budget film.
Exactly. Yeah, well, we'll get to that, of how fucking incredible they made this. So, the cast. Heather Langenkamp plays Nancy Thompson. John Saxon plays Lieutenant Donald Thompson. Ronnie Blakely plays Marge Thompson. Amanda Wiss plays Tina Gray. Nick Corey, or Sue Garcia, is Rod Lane. Introducing Johnny Depp as Glenn Lance, and Robert Englund as Fred Krueger. Now, strap in. So, on the production side, after directing the adaptation of the DC Comics character Swamp Thing in 1982, Wes Craven couldn't get work, so he decided to write another film. His first original screenplay since 1977's The Hills Have Eyes. He began writing the screenplay under the name Dreamskill. Get it? Dreams kill.
But these are the jokes.
Wow.
I know you're out there. I can hear you breathing.
Glad he changed that fucking title. He picked Elm Street because it sounded the most middle American, which it kind of does. as the man is one to say in the sixth film, every town has an Elm Street, and that is absolutely true.
Actually, very true.
It is actually very true. Every now and then, whenever I'm downtown, I do travel down Elm Street just to be like, guess where I am?
Yep.
Because I'm that big a dork. The basic idea for the movie came from a series of articles in the LA Times over a 3-year period about Southeast Asian refugees who died in their sleep. One such young man refused to sleep, claiming that if he did, he wouldn't wake up. So his parents made him take sleeping pills and other such things, such as that, but he still didn't sleep. One night, they were all watching TV, and he fell asleep on the couch. His parents brought him to his bed and thought, finally, it's over. A few hours later, they heard him scream. By the time they got to his bed, he was dead. The autopsy revealed that there was no heart failure or anything. He literally just simply stopped living. So Wes looked into that and was just like, well, what if something in the dream was trying to kill him?
Add a little razzle-dazzle to this.
Kinda, yeah. Later, they searched his room and found many empty bottles of caffeine pills and a coffee pot hidden in the closet, which was very much reminiscent in this film.
Mm-hmm.
This has since been called Sudden Unexpected Death Syndrome, or SUDS, or Asian Death Syndrome. After completing a few drafts of the script, Wes began shopping it around Hollywood, and everyone passed, basically saying the same thing: it's not scary because it's in a dream. He was about to give up and go find work elsewhere when he sent a copy to Robert Shea. Bob Shea found New Line Cinema in 1967. Basically, they got put on the map by finding out that a film called Tell Your Children was being played on college campuses. Bob found out it was improperly copywritten and fell into the public domain. He obtained a copy of the film and started distributing it as Reefer Madness and made a small fortune. Made most of their living redistributing films that had already had a theatrical run. So films like Texas Chainsaw Massacre and things like that, if they'd had a run elsewhere and they were done, New Line would pick them up and then distribute them.
So he just made his bones just like
basically
picking bones,
pretty much. Yeah, that was kind of because that was his thing when he when he was
bit of a film gravedigger.
That was what he literally. I think he went to school for to be a lawyer. So he had all this shit, and it was kind of distribution was kind of his thing. So this is what he kind of did. In the 70s and 80s, New Line wanted to get into film production as well as distribution, so they produced low-budget films such as Alone in the Dark, directed by Jack Shoulder, who would later go on to direct A Nightmare on Elm Street 2. Those films all flopped and disappeared rather quickly. Not to be discouraged, Bob gets the script for A Nightmare on Elm Street. Bob liked it and bought the script and hired Wes to direct for roughly $70,000, which Wes accepted because he was broke. With this deal, Wes signed over all the rights and characters to New Line, losing millions, eventually. Originally, the project was budgeted by Wes at $2 million. Bob wanted $50,000. And then when Wes basically stared at him blankly, he was like, what about 80? Clearly, they needed more than that.
Can we do it for a pack of gum?
Pretty much, yeah. They figured they'll find a way to get the $2 million, so then they decided to work together and work on a story. So they basically wrote many drafts, and then both agreed on it, and then production began. So, the casting. I'm breaking this down, so bear with me, folks. Heather Langenkamp was chosen because she looked like the girl next door. She'd taken time off from Stanford University to make it as an actor. She'd done a movie of the week and a few commercials. Nothing else, really. Nick Corey, whose real name is Sue Garcia, changed his name because at the time movie studios were hesitant to hire Mexican Americans. Sue was just coming off of being homeless and addicted to drugs. During the very important jail scene where he talks to Nancy, he was high on heroin. That's why his eyes look out of it. John Saxon and Ronnie Blakely were cast because with any low-budget film, you need stars to sell the movie to foreign markets and to help get money out of the investors. Ronnie Blakely decided to try method acting. Even though no one knows for sure, the rumor on the set was that she was fucking shit-faced. Which is why that performance is so goddamn spacey in this movie. It's weird. So Johnny Depp was a musician who went to the audition because a friend of his said he should try acting to make money. That friend was Nicolas Cage.
John, you should really try this acting.
You should really try this acting thing, Prior to making the film, Amanda Wyss had never seen a horror movie. Which is like, wouldn't you at least try to watch one? Apparently not. Johnny was hired because of Wes's daughter and her friend. It was down to 2 actors, and he asked the 2 teenage girls. He basically showed them 2 headshots and just said, what do you think? And they both said, are you kidding? It's Johnny Depp. He's beautiful. So
he kind of made a career of that.
Kind of did. I mean, that's It worked.
How many jobs has Johnny Depp got because he's a handsome son of a bitch?
All
jobs. Yeah. All jobs. Correct.
I mean,
you win the prize.
Like, yeah, he's a decent enough actor, but really, he gets it because he's hot. You know? I mean, there's most people, not just straight women, most people would fuck Johnny Depp if they had a chance. Like, let's face it. Although maybe not now. He kind of looks like a fucking weird heroin addict.
With his 90 bracelets.
Yeah, I don't know what the hell is going on, man. Just stop hanging out with Alice Cooper.
Never stop hanging out with Alice
Good point.
Cooper.
Good point. Yeah, no, maybe it's Joe Perry.
Maybe
Joe Perry
I'll
looks
give you that
sickly.
one.
Let's. Yeah, don't take that personally. I do want to hang out with Alice Cooper like all the time. So.
Do you like golf? Because that's what he does nowadays.
I do like golf. I would totally play golf, and I'll let him talk to me about Jesus too. How's that? Alice Cooper, if you're listening.
It's quite the afternoon.
I'm just saying, Alice Cooper, if you're listening, I want to be buddies. He had never acted before, and he was very nervous. No shit. Charlie Sheen was originally cast as Glenn, but he demanded $3,000 a day, which the production couldn't afford. He later admitted that he didn't understand or like the script, and priced himself out of it on purpose. He still regrets it. Now, for some reason, casting on this movie is like Woodstock. Everyone claims that they auditioned for it. So for Nancy, names like Jennifer Grey, Demi Moore, Courtney Cox, Tracy Gold, and Claudia Wells were thrown about.
Yeah, all the girl next doors.
Yeah.
By the way.
Yeah, really. And for Glenn, John Cusack, Brad Pitt, Kiefer Sutherland, and C. Thomas Howell. And the biggest one that was going around for the longest time was David Warner from The Omen for Fred Krueger. However, none of these are true.
Yeah.
Annette Benson.
Like, what girl next door and boy next door
Yeah.
are you living to? The Pretty People Factory?
Yeah, like Annette Benson basically went, I would have remembered if any of those people came through me, but they didn't. So, y'all lying if you say it. Originally, Wes and Bob planned to cast a stuntman as Fred Krueger, but since that's what they've done.
That works for the other franchise.
Well, that's literally what they were saying. It was like, that's what Halloween and Friday the 13th did, they figured, why not? That's what you do.
Yeah, but those guys don't talk.
Well, that's what they came to. It was just like, yeah, but they quickly realized they needed an actual actor. Enter Robert Englund, a classically trained Shakespearean actor from California. Okay. Character actor who was constantly being typecast as the nice guy or the best friend decided to go against type and try to play a villain for once. Was just starting to experience a little bit of fame from being on a TV series called V, which they remade a few years back, where he played the friendly alien Willie. Before going to the audition, Robert had only seen scenes from Last House on the Left and The Hills Have Eyes on this weird bar he went to. They had, like, spliced footage of both of the films constantly playing in the background. Now, he was only there because he just basically thought the bartender was hot, but, like, he's just, like, watching these things going, what in the blue fuck am I looking at? So, when he went for his audition, he was nervous as hell to meet Wes because he thought he was going to meet some artsy goth kid along the lines of Tim Burton, and was shocked to see that Wes was pretty much the exact opposite. Well-spoken, Abercrombie and Fitch type dude, like, very not a horror guy like you would assume.
He's supposed to emerge from the darkness like Nosferatu,
Dude,
like, hello, my name is Wes
If
Craven.
you've ever seen those two movies, you would assume that that's
you would think,
exactly
like,
what he would look like, not being what he is. And
Not like, hi, what's up?
not even that.
I'm Wes.
Not even that. It's like, hello, how are you? I'm Wes Craven. Which is actually a surprisingly good impression.
Like a
first time I've ever done that, but I'm like, that's actually pretty accurate.
Like
And
super soft.
we'll get into Wes's life as the months go further, because I'm also reading, as much as I've read a book for this, I'm reading a book on Wes Craven, so I'll have info for you. His life was interesting. So for his audition, Robert, thinking he looked too much like a California surfer, which he was, took oil from his car to slick his hair back, and ash from the ashes in his cigarette ashtray to make dark circles under his eyes. During the audition, he spent most of the time staring very creepily at Wes in an attempt to make himself seem scary. He barely spoke and blinked as little as possible. It worked. He was cast 2 days later.
Just sitting there, just like...
Yeah, literally just staring at him, which is, from what he says in his book, because I have that too, he literally is like, that's pretty much the exact opposite of what an actor's supposed to do at an audition. And it worked. So, that's how that... So, Fred Krueger was given his name because Wes, as a young kid, was the bully that